Hello, everyone. I'm Liz Quidantis. We are bringing you 4 stories from the CBS 12 News I-Team and our Special Projects Unit. These reports sparked big conversation. They're colorful, controversial, and impossible to ignore.
Yeah, I'm Jim Grimes. Our first investigation focuses on travel safety and a troubling trend. In 2025, 2 bodies were discovered inside the wheel well of a JetBlue plane over at Fort Lauderdale International Airport.
The CBS 12 News I-Team started asking questions, and what they found was alarming. If people can hide inside a plane's landing gear, so could something else. And getting under a jet, it may be easier than you think. Here's Chief Investigator Mike Magnoli.
Experts will tell you it's almost, but not entirely, impossible to survive through a flight inside the wheel well of a commercial airplane. You're talking below zero temperatures and a nearly total lack of oxygen once the plane gets to cruising altitude. In 2014 it happened, though. A 15-year-old boy, a stowaway, made it 5.5 hours from San Jose, California to Maui in the airliner's nose wheel well. And 2 recent cases that saw the stowaways dying during the trip. Christmas Eve, a body was found in the wheel well of a United flight that landed in Hawaii from Chicago. Then in January, 2 bodies were found in the wheel well on JetBlue. That plane had come to Fort Lauderdale from New York, but earlier in the day, it had been in the Dominican Republic. And that's where investigators believe the victims got on board. 2 young men trying to come to America for a better life. They never made it.
So if someone can access the underbelly of the airplane, undetected, it raises questions about what the intent of this individual might be, which in this case wasn't, but it could be malicious.
I spoke to Dr. Hassan Shahidi, the president and CEO of Flight Safety Foundation. He says that runways are too accessible, and he says these incidents should prompt a larger discussion.
Airports, the perimeter of the airport is an important area, and it must comply with certain international standards and certainly U.S. standards with respect to security, to make sure that unauthorized personnel and individuals do not get access.
And the United States can do things to foreign airports to punish them if security isn't tight enough. The TSA looks at every airport in the world that offers flights to America and receives American passenger planes.
If, as a result of the investigation, it is discovered that airports do not comply with these regulations, then flights into the U.S. from those airports can be denied.
But beyond this, the Fort Lauderdale case suggests that ground crews in the United States aren't doing what they're supposed to. Because how could the stowaways not have been discovered in New York? And the plane had made another stop with the victims on board in Salt Lake City. For additional perspective, I spoke with Leonard Saratori. He's retired, but his career was in airport operations. 14 years at Westchester Airport in New York, 2 years at Fort Lauderdale, and most recently, 20 years at PBIA.
Sure, there's some areas of the airport that people can get through the fence.
Saratori told me about 2 cases at PBIA when he was there, where a driver lost control of a car on a nearby road and crashed into the fence surrounding the airport. The chain link portions were separated from their poles in the accidents, but looking at it, you couldn't even tell.
I guess the fence sometimes springs back.
And Lenny says after midnight, the runways and the airport perimeter get very quiet.
I mean, in the night, there's a lot of darkness out at the airfield. If the runway's not lighted, you're looking at a dark field. Somebody can actually if they really want to, could sneak out there and get on the runway.
Dr. Shahidi and Leonard say what needs to change here is adding more of everything. Cameras, lights on the runway, security personnel, and more checking underneath the airplanes. I'm Mike Magnoli, CBS 12 News.
Well, this next story is something that we all experience whether we want to or not. Violent videos, graphic content, and no warning. From social media feeds to text chains, disturbing images are finding us. Can we block them, protect our kids, and what does this constant exposure do to our brains? Lily Ortiz is on assignment for the I-Team.
Whether you're watching sports highlights, cleaning hacks,
$19 cleaning will take your house from shambles to a literal sanctuary.
or a trending dance craze, graphic, uncensored violence is incredibly hard to avoid. Like the stabbing death on a commuter train in Charlotte, or the aftermath of a political assassination like Charlie Kirk's murder. No warning, no filter. And experts say your brain doesn't just scroll past that.
Yeah, you're looking at cute babies and puppies, and then all of a sudden you see an image like this, and it's jarring.
Jennifer Tomko is a licensed psychotherapist in Jupiter, specializing in trauma and stress in the digital age.
How do you think this type of exposure affects us?
We immediately have a physiological response. We release adrenaline, cortisol, and even oxytocin. Our bodies are going immediately into a fight, flight, freeze response. So we have to figure out how to navigate that. We might find ourselves getting more agitated or amplified or anxious, or we might find ourselves coping it by minimizing it. So it depends on the person, but all of it is a physiological response that we have to process through.
She says that stress response can quickly change how we feel and how we connect with others.
We might shut down, which is often a desensitization. And when that happens, we end up excusing the behavior.
Because that numbing can turn into something much bigger.
But yes, we end up having an empathy fatigue potentially. And when that happens, we are less engaged with the community, and we start to pull away.
And children, she says, are especially vulnerable.
Children don't have the moral barometer quite yet, and so that starts to be part of the structure of how we view violence and how we normalize it.
And even if we're not looking for it, social media algorithms may send this kind of content your way. So how is this even legal?
Unfortunately, social media sites are generally not held liable for what users post online, even if it is graphic or violent content.
That's because of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, a federal law.
It's very similar for someone that creates, let's say, a baseball bat company. Shouldn't be responsible for how people use the baseball bat if they were to use that violently.
But some states are pushing back, arguing that if algorithms promote violence, platforms should be subject to penalties and lawsuits, paying a price for just putting it out there.
That's a new strategy that people are trying to use in lawsuits to hold social media companies responsible for this violent and vulgar content online.
Let's say a parent is really concerned about this. How can we avoid these violent posts and feeds?
There are an option that's out there. And that option is using the sensitive content feature on different sites. For example, Facebook and X have a feature that says, I don't want to see sensitive content. At the end of the day, if you're a parent and you want to shield your child from seeing sensitive content on social media, really the only defense you have is not using the social media platforms in the first place.
If you've seen something traumatic, Tomko says there are ways to cope.
Journaling, being in nature, talking to a professional, talking to other people who are going to actually listen and hold space for how you're feeling.
And you know, in Florida, as of January 1st of this year, a law went into effect. Kids under 14 are not allowed to have social media accounts, and 14 and 15-year-olds must have permission from their parents to create one. For the I-Team, I'm Lulie Ortiz, CBS 12 News.
This next investigation is about the future of food and a first-of-its-kind fight here in Florida.
Right now, lab-grown chicken is being developed in California, but not here. Florida is the first and only state to ban it. The company behind it is now suing to change that. Here again is CBS 12's Mike Magnoli.
On Firefly Farm in Martin County, owners Taylor and Melissa Canton are not even a little concerned about lab-grown chicken taking away their customers. They tell the I-Team more and more families are buying poultry directly from them instead of at the grocery store.
They're grown with care. We can truly grow what we would feed our family, which was the entire point of why we got into it, was to find better food options out there.
You need to work with nature to grow the animal properly.
Turkey!
This is the second year Taylor and Melissa have offered turkeys for Thanksgiving. They also have duck, hens and roosters, no chemicals and no pesticides anywhere near any of their birds.
It's proper food, and that's what gets people coming back.
We'll come back here to Firefly Farm in a minute, but now let's go to Hardy County, Florida.
Take your fake lab-grown meat elsewhere. We're not doing that in the state of Florida.
Where, in a cattle arena, Governor DeSantis signed a law banning cultivated meat back in May. It's a misdemeanor to sell it, so restaurants, stores, other businesses could have their licenses suspended if they violate this law. The DeSantis administration says this was done to protect farmers and fight back against the global elite's plan to force the world to eat meat grown in a petri dish to achieve their authoritarian goals. Florida's chickens are big business. $200 million a year big. And you might expect the Cantons would support this pro-farm policy. But think again.
It's not very free state of Florida. People should be able to eat what they want to eat. Adults can make adult decisions, and that includes the food that they eat.
What he's saying is, if you want to go to your freezer and take out a piece of lab-grown chicken, more power to you. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This product is still 20 to 30 years away from being available in the supermarket, and the company that makes this is called Upside Foods.
It's so good.
Before Florida's law went into effect, Instagram chef Mika Leone, based in Miami, cooked some chicken tostadas with lab-grown chicken from Upside Foods. Sir Richard Branson has invested in Upside Foods, and he tried the cultivated chicken piccata.
Wow. Quite brilliant. Thank you so much.
Upside Foods says this science could someday eradicate famine and sharply reduce greenhouse gases from livestock in the ag industry. Here's molecular biologist Eric Schulz, a former boss at Upside Foods and a retired FDA regulator.
So cultivated meat is real meat. It's just not grown in an animal body. So it's basically 3 steps. We take cells from an animal. Those cells are living. Then we take those cells and we take them and put them in basically what looks like a beer brewing tank. We feed them the same things they would have inside of the animal, vitamins, minerals, sugars, all the things a cell needs to live, the same things you eat. We grow them in a very short amount of time, and then we harvest them and process them just like you would any other cut of meat into a finished food product. The only difference is that you're growing just the things you need, this muscle, connective tissue, and fat, and then you're just processing them, and it's a lot more efficient because you don't have the rest of the animal to grow.
The FDA and the Department of Agriculture approved Upside Foods cultivated chicken. Schulz tells the I-Team if the federal government says it's safe, Florida should let consumers decide.
A preemptive ban on new technologies is antithetical. It is the opposite of what the meat industry has historically embraced. The meat industry is the paragon of embracing innovation. That's how we feed 7.5 billion people on the planet every day their favorite food.
Chicken is the beginning of the cultivated food revolution. Later on down the line, Schulz says Upside Foods will work on beef. In the meantime, changing Florida law could be an uphill battle. Last month, a federal judge denied the company a preliminary injunction. Many more rounds of legal back and forth are coming.
Golf is known as a gentleman's game, but lately some players are taking their anger from the fairway to the fight card.
Club throwing, shouting, even shoving matches. A viral moment has people asking, what's happened to etiquette on the green? CBS 12's Katie Benty is on assignment for the I-Team.
Well, that wasn't bad. Look, I'm not a pro, I get it. I've hit probably 20 balls and sliced half of them. But some players are taking that frustration out on more than just these golf balls.
Golf, long known for silence, sportsmanship, and self-control, is seeing a different kind of swing lately. From the first tee to the final putt, some players are losing it on the links.
You're not a tough guy. Hurry up. I'll Promise you that.
The latest fairway freakout caught on camera in Canada. Started over pace of play and boiled over fast. First, it's words.
I'm a Try it!
Then one golfer gets tossed into a pond by a former NHL hockey player who once played for the Florida Panthers. And just when it seems over.
Bang! Bang! Come on, man. Bang!
Clay Myers is head pro at the park in West Palm Beach, a popular public course where prevention starts early.
Out here, we try to mitigate that by catching slow groups or even groups that's holding people up. So we try to catch that early.
Golf rage isn't rare. Hundreds of meltdowns are posted online. But General Manager Brian Conley says this isn't always just for clicks.
I've seen some pretty classic club tosses. I've actually even broken a club myself. I mean, look, tempers can get heated.
Golf is still a game of patience, but lately it's been putting players to the test.
Ooh, maybe one more time.
And yes, I'm feeling it too.
Okay, well that was, the frustration is showing at this point.
Throwing a club is one thing. Throwing punches is another.
Haven't dealt with it here, thankfully. I think we kind of set the precedent when you start here. Is like, look, don't take it too serious. Don't take yourself too serious.
You can't complain when the sun's like this, it's shining. Like, what else would you be doing?
Pro golfer Brody Harbinson says the pressure's real, but respect still matters.
I have absolutely thrown clubs and I've learnt my my fair share.
He says tour players face penalties, even for bad attitudes or slow play.
If you get caught swearing, that's, against the code of conduct, the way you treat people, even like slow play now, because that can affect the rest of the field. So there's so many regulations of, like you said, keeping the respect in the game, but not just the game, but for other players too.
So next time you feel like snapping a club, remember, the only thing you should be breaking
there you go.
is par. In West Palm Beach, I'm Katie Benty, CBS 12 News.
We hope you've enjoyed this CBS 12 News I-Team Special.
If you have a tip for the I-Team, email us anytime at newstips@cbs12.com.
For all of us here at CBS 12 News, thanks for watching.